Dave here. How are you? Today on the show we're going to finish off the dovetails on this box. Actually, we're going to clean this corner up. I'm going to show you an easy way to do that. We'll also come down to the router table and we'll finish off doing all of these dovetails here. So I've got one piece, there it is, that doesn't have the dovetails on it. So it's not going to be a whole long time on that, but we'll try and get this glued together as well. And I'll show you some tricks and tips. See you soon. Bye.
Dave here. How are you? Dave here, how are you? Today is the 17th of April. Nearly lost what month it was. Easter Sunday for us here at the moment. Long weekend, that's probably what it means to a lot of people, and for people that are Christian, it's a very special weekend. All right, now, today on the show, the box is coming along really, really well. I'm happy with this. I'm going to start off by just going through an easy way to plane and sand the dovetails. It's just so quick and easy. I struggled by trying to hold on to the thing, push it up against a cupboard and use this. Use my bench. It makes life easy. So I'll move a couple of things out of the way and I'll show you what I mean. I have here a board that is covered in sandpaper. On this side it's 120, on this side it's 80. Now ordinarily I would just put that on the bench and I would get a box that I've made before I'd done too much to it and just roll it around, slide it backwards and forwards to sand the thing dead flat. Well, there's other things we can use it for as well. I'm going to hang it out the side, and it's going to be the support for, we'll move it down here a little bit, maybe just about there. It's going to be the support for holding onto that box while I plane the dovetails. And it makes it so easy. There's all sorts of ways I could hold onto it here, but I'm thinking just put the clamps on. Now the reason I'm using the clamps is the weight of the box on the end here, I don't want it tipping. So let's go to another camera and we can have a look like so. You can see it's hanging out over the edge here. And I have one dog in here. You probably saw on the prelude to the show, the trailer, the dogs were chasing around each other just there. But have a look at how neat these are coming up. They're just beautiful. Now we're going to make this one just as lovely. People will tell you, and even me, I have done it, I will tell you, for end grain, use a low angle blade. And ordinarily that works really well on end grain. But if the grain is a little bit kind of up and down behind, like on the long section of the grain, of the box, on the side of the box, when I go past this end grain onto this part, I may find that a low angle plane will start to lift and tear the timber here. Now there's someone I have heard say before, I can't remember who it was, but they've said sharp is sharp, and that's all there is to it. So I'm going to use my number 6, the Stanley number 6, because this is the sharpest plane that I have at the moment. Now I'm going to use that because its blade is around 40 degrees, so it's up a little bit higher and I'm not going to get as much tear out. I probably get none. And I've got it set to a very, very shallow protrusion through the mouth of the sole here. It works really, really nicely. I've got some glue here as well, so we'll just knock that off to start. See that? How easy is it? I'll work this side. I'm using the number 6 because it's got a lot of mass. It's heavy. If I was to use my small plane, I would end up having what's called chatter. It would bounce around as I'm going over this end grain. Because this is nice and heavy, it's like a flywheel on a motor, you know, it just gives all of that extra, carries it through the hard parts. See that? It's nice. You might also notice that I'm going at a bit of an angle. I'm not going straight because I don't want the blade to hit the timber all at one go. I want it to come in so it's slicing. It's similar to a helical knife in a jointer. Look, I might come over to the other camera, the one up above, the Carl cam, and you can watch from up there. Just here. Actually, I'm going to zoom Carl cam in, so we'll take you back to this one first while I'm zooming Carl in. And it's one of the great things about this setup is that I can do this. It won't be as sharp, but it's a 4K camera, as I said before, and I can get that to there. All right, I'm going to transition again. How's that? Now you can see all of the joint directly from above. I'm going to quick read down. Peter, all the socials are done. 6 nights, happy Easter. Joe, all good, 5x5. Skip, happy Easter all. Michael, House, morning Dave, and everyone, happy Easter. So you can see it's coming along quite nicely. I'm going to work this end here. I'm not going all the way down. I've got a little bit of glue mark there. That's looking pretty nice. Very nice, as a matter of fact. All right. We'll sand that in a second, but I'm going to do the other side. Doesn't it make it easy? I might put another little clamp on there. Give me a second. Just so it doesn't go rocking around. Okay, these are fairly high. I'm toying with an idea while I'm talking to you. Maybe that might work. I'm always looking for a better camera angle. No, I don't think it's going to be any better. I think we'll just go with this one. All right. So these are sitting up around about 1 millimeter. Getting there. Nearly. Ready for sanding. Do you like that? Now I have to speak to Google, so if you have Google at your place, be aware. All right, here we go. Hey Google, turn the charger on.
Sure, turning the battery charger on.
Thank you. Here we go. I'm going to sand this. may see just here, there's a little bit of a tear out. Now this is on the face, not on the back. It's just the pine tore a little bit. Now that doesn't matter because we're going to have a cover strip over this as part of the box. But look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I shall go to the other camera and bring it up closer for you. There we go. Cole, are those dovetails okay, buddy? I think they're pretty nice. Now I'm going to sand the top one. Good morning, Ash. How are you? I'm going to give these a quick sand. What's the blade protrusion? 0.5 millimeter, just barely showing, Peter. Just barely showing. Bit of noise. Done. Just lovely. There we go. There's the joint, all nice and clean. Beautiful. All right, now that we've done that part, oh, you'll notice also I've gone around with chalk and I've written on it what each individual part is and a face mark and an edge mark as well. All right, back to this camera here. I love it. I love it. Next thing to do, it's only 10 minutes in, which is great. Next thing I'm going to do is we'll have a quick look at a viewer's project. Then we'll jump on to the jig and actually cut some more of the dovetails for the top section. And I'll explain a little bit the layout and how I do it. If you're interested in this jig, like I think a fair few of you were interested last week, Cole said he had a few people order the jumbo jig, which is great. As I said, I don't have the jumbo jig, but if I did have the jumbo jig, I could have made this box all in one hit rather than doing it in two pieces and then gluing it back together. And I'm going to do that. I'll glue it back together during the week. But viewers project. G'day Wally, how are you? Let me see, where are we? 61. Not too many there today, but you know, Easter long weekend. I get that. Not a problem. Where is the viewers project? It is here. Now, John Lafferty, as everyone knows, had these issues with polycystic kidney disease, and he's getting out because it's not raining so much, and he's doing some stuff out on his property. So this is Fort Cluck. This is where he keeps his chickens. So he and Julia have got chickens that if they don't lay, obviously they don't stay there very long, but if they do lay, they've got a nice little home that he's built for them. So this is the laying box, I think. Is that correct, John? So he's got, this is in his workshop, so it's all form ply. John got in touch with me, he said, what glue do you use to put form ply together? And I said, screws. And he said, of course. And this is actually in position, so he can lift the lid and have a look and steal the eggs from the chooks if they get a bit broody. And what else have we got here? Oh, this is an interesting thing. The bottom of the area where they lay is on a hinge as well, so he can drop the bottom open and they all, all the chooks fall out, or no, he can clean it out, clean all the poop out. And this is it from another area, so they've got a ramp to walk up. Now, it's all enclosed with chicken wire all the way around the outside, so foxes won't be able to get in there. But I'm just wondering if snakes would be able to get up that or not, John. Curious. Okay, that's our viewers project. So, John, that's terrific that you're actually getting out there and you're making things again and enjoying yourself, which is fantastic. Very, very happy for you. I'm going to move this camera down there, and, well, I hope to. And we'll get stuck into using the router and the jig. So how's everyone's week been while I'm setting this up? I haven't been using the overhead things, have I? Been a little bit naughty there. Anyone doing anything special over Easter? You get plenty of chocolate, spoilt, all of that kind of stuff? Or has it just been a little bit ho-hum? Don't be afraid to use that. Morning, Cole. How are you? Let's see if the other camera's looking okay there. Well, that's not a bad view. I'm going to just pick it up a little. Maybe there. That's a bit closer. I don't have a cameraman like you do, Cole. I don't have Pam here to bring the camera in close. There we go. Now, while I'm down there, I'm going to do a little bit of explaining. I'm going to spin this monitor around so I can see what's going on. And grab some ear protection. When I use the router, it does get a little bit noisy. So be aware of that. Okay. Now, in here, I've got the straight cutter. And this is used to do the pins. The dovetail cutter, let me twist this so it's kind of straight again. That's better. The dovetail cutter is actually shaped like a dovetail, and it creates these. You might wonder why I had a weight on all of the timber, so it doesn't twist or anything whilst I'm not using it. I'll put the pin sections there, and we have this. So the dovetail, these dovetails here are created by the dovetail cutter, which just goes straight through. And the pins are what are going to go in between the dovetails. So that's what we're about to cut. What I also do is have a look at all of the timber and I lay it out. So this is, look out Nessie, I've got a pug under here trying to get my attention. C, D, B, A. All right, I'm going to move the camera so you can see it all set up. What we have here is, this is end 1, top, end 2, and top at the back. Now you'll notice that I've written with chalk B and B, A, C and C, D and D, and the last one, A again. So it's designed to work all the way around the box. I got each individual piece and I laid them out so that the grain looked like it was going to follow as closely as it could. This one here and here, there are different pieces of wood, but it still kind of followed. And down the end here, same kind of thing. I've got Baroness here sitting on the cable now. Nessie, I don't think that's a good spot for you to stay. There's a girl. Come on, there's a girl. Good girl. All right. Now I'm going to talk about the jig for a little bit too while Cole's here. At the moment, you first cut all your dovetails. That's on this back section here. You cut the pins on this side, and the pins are the area where you can make the joint tighter or looser. Now, with this jig, this is the B10. Go have a look for all Cole stuff. This is the B10. Your normal amount of shims, and the shims go in on the pin side, you'd have 9. That's your starting point. They say to use, Cole says to use, do some test pieces, do some test cuts, and that's a good idea. In this situation, I only had around about 3 millimeters spare, so I didn't have that, but I knew from previous use 9 shims was good. Pardon me. And it worked really well. very well. The fit was a beautiful, just nice, clean push fit. It wasn't tight. But when I glued the first section up, after the glue went on, the joint started swelling straight away before I'd even brought the two pieces together. So then I thought, all right, I'm going to open them all up. So I took the end off the jig. So there's a couple of screws here. You undo those, and there's a screw here and another screw here. And you undo those. That allows you to slide another shim in. The more shims, the looser the joint becomes. Less shims, the tighter. So I put another shim in, took it up to 10, put the screws back in, and then the screws on the end. Now what had happened also was I had planed one of the pieces of timber. Remember, I'd already cut some of the joints. I'd already done some of the pins. And I had planed one of the pieces after the fact, I think. And then when I brought it back to the jig to open it up to make the joint a little bit looser, it didn't go in hard up against the red and the black sections at the end here. So I've stuffed that up a little bit. The one that I'm doing today, which is this one, and I'll show you how nicely they go together. This is B, so that's the B dovetails, and this is B there. See, how beautiful is that? When I put the glue on, that'll be lovely this time. But before, it was just that little bit tight, a little bit too tight. This is just beautiful. So that's why I had to put the extra shim in. Okay, so this one here is the one that I'm going to do now. This is D. I'm going to see if I can twist that camera up just a little to about there. And that might pick me up a little bit at the same time. Not that it's important, but you know. Anyway, so the Gifkins jig is a jig that goes over a router table. This is not a jig that I can put in a vise on a bench and then use a router over the top of it. This is how it works. There's put a couple of clamps in it, in little holders that are there especially for it. And it's always, whatever you've done on that end, you rotate it this way and put it back in. So it is, you keep your face mark facing out. Don't be like David and do this, because David did that once and everyone thought he was very naughty, especially Cole. I think Cole just turned the show off and went and had a cup of coffee somewhere. Anyway, all right, so there we go. I've got that there, this one here. I'm clamping it in nice and tight. I'm looking along the bottom here and I'm making sure that it's sitting down hard on the comb or the template, whatever you want to call the fingers there. We're on the side that's got the shape that's tapered. Remember, tapered comb for a straight cutter, straight comb down the bottom here for the dovetail cutter. It's a little bit back to front, but you'll get it. And it's just so nice to use. Now I've already set the height, and this yellow thing again is out of the router, so it's not going to start. So we set the height so that the bearing is on the comb, and I've put a tiny little bit of oil on the bearing as well, just to keep it nice. And the height of that is around about 0.5 millimeter higher than the thickness of the board. And all of these boards are out of the one piece, so it'll be fine. So I shall be using it by holding my hand on the end here and these fingers down on the bench. So I have control. It's not going to catch and run away. I've got the dust extraction down here. I've got the insert totally out down here. And I've got the gate here open really big time as well to catch all of this. So enough of the chat. I've only got the one to do. It is going to make a noise, so you may want to turn the sound down. I'm going to check the chat over here to see if anyone's looking. Start with 5 shims. Well, you can. Everyone I've spoken to, Cole says 9. But start with 5, do what Cole says. All right. That's in there. Eye protection. Remember, as I say, it is going to make a little bit of noise. So here we go. A little bit of backwards and forwards. Across the face. And then all the way in. Across the back. And then out. Backwards and forwards a few times just to clear it. This one. See that okay? I've got the router at full speed for all of the dovetails, all the different ones, the cutters, the big ones, the small ones. You get a much cleaner cut at full speed, which is on my router around 24,000 RPM. Done. You can turn the volume up again. The dusty will turn off in a minute. Beautiful. How cool is that? All right. So, I'm quickly going to check that D goes into D. Bring it up to there. Drop it in. How's that? That's just beautiful. Now, I'm making sure that it's going through, and it is. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Now, I'm also going to do another little trick, and that is, I'll tell you in a second when I get over there. Ha! I love this. This puts a smile on my face. Where are we? Well, it helps if I turn the screen around. That's got all the info on it. All right, back to this camera. Now, a quick read. Good to see you out and about, John. Yes. Duplicate the menu. Rehung with Hef's the boys axe. Okay, you guys are talking about other things. Right, now I'm going to glue it together. So to do that, I'm going to put my bench down on the ground and do it on the laminate top, because if I spill glue, it's a whole lot easier to clean it off this surface here. Take it back just a little without it falling off. And I'll move a few things out of the way. This is so much fun. It really is. Can you tell that David's happy? Okay. So now I have my pins on the end pieces. I looked at Arthur's toolbox as well, and I had a look at which direction that the dovetails and the pins were going. So I've replicated that so that the pins are going across the short length and the dovetails are coming down the long length. I don't know if there's any reason to do that. Maybe it's just some people prefer to have it that way. I definitely need a camera person. Cole, come down, jump. It's nice and warm and sunny down here, mate. It's not like raining up there at your place. Okay, so I've got and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the glue on the pins more than I will be on the tails. And so I will do one long section and put the ends in, and then I'll glue the tops and drop the other side on. And that's the easiest way to do it, I think. I have to make sure that I know where I'm at. So that's B and C. So that's B is here, like so. C is here, like so. And then I'll put A and D on last. Now I'm going to use this stuff because it's a lot clearer when it finishes. It's a very similar color. You can see it on the pine there. The box that I did the previous week, the one that Bianca ended up with, that little small tote box, I use type 1-3 and it's a very dark glue. So all my miters look terrible because you could see the massive glue because it was super dark. With this stuff, it helps. You know, if you use a light or even melamine glue, but this is a waterproof, well, it's a water resistant glue. So I'll pour out a fair bit here. And I'll use a brush. And one of the other great tips that Cole has said before is glue the back section. Now this is the inside of the box. I'm not going to glue from that side. I'm going to glue from the outside. This is the side that's got the pencil marks on it. They're on there. See the face mark here? Hello, sweetie. That's little Nessie. So I'm going to glue favouring. This takes a little while, I'm sorry. And what I might do is just go right the way up one side. That's a tip. And then do the other side like this, rather than trying to do it backhanded. Now the reason we're going this way is that it's going to leave the main deposit of the glue towards the outside of the box. So we're not going to have to do any real cleaning up of the glue joint on the inside. Oh, this is a much better way of doing it. I'll do the other end as well while I've got it there. These are just little artist brushes. I got them online from eBay somewhere. I wash them at the end of it because then I can use them again. And they make a great glue brush. The silicone brushes are okay on bigger stuff, but these things are great for dovetail joints and box joints and miters. I use these a lot. Over that way. Down the other side. Yeah, did you see in the trailer where I'm trying to tell you what's going to be on the show and the dogs have become so comfortable with each other. Yeah, come on, knuckle up. Have a great time. He's Pierre, which is the little French bulldog that we got as a second-hand dog. He's going really well. Okay, so B and C, I've got it written on there in chalk. I don't know if you can see it. But that's B at that end and C there. B here. See, this says B. All right. Outside again. I'm not looking up to the chat quite yet. I will soon, because I've got another trick. This is one I haven't told Cole about, so he's going to start shaking his head. I bet you. Dave, what are you doing? Don't do that. It'll be fun. I found a way of pulling the joints up nicely, particularly if they get very tight from the amount of glue that you've got on, or if the glue has made the timber swell. Different timbers are going to absorb glue at a different rate, obviously, and it works well. Okay, there. We'll slide that down into there straight away. See that? Already tight. So we need to not dally. That's C and D. D is over here, correct? So we do this one. It's so important that you write things down. See, there's hardly any glue. Well, you won't see it because the camera's not down low enough. But take my word for it. There's hardly any glue has come out on the inside of the joint. Now, if you haven't watched Cole's show, you really do need to. I put a link. There's a link down the bottom in the description box. And also I'd realised I put the wrong link for Vicky's vodka. So if you're in Lawson, that's where she is today at Magpie Markets. And she has all her vodka with her. And she's even, I convinced her to do just straight vodka, not flavoured, because that's the one I prefer. I love it. Just takes me back to when I was a kid, vodka and orange. See all that glue it's used up? No wonder we're getting a little bit of swelling. Anyway, it's very nice. And no bad head the next morning. It's just amazing. It's one of the great things about natural ingredients. So she's looking at different ways of sealing the bottles and all that kind of stuff now, and it's coming up very well. There we go. This one straight down. So nice. So nice. Look at the inside of the joints. They're beautiful. Now, we'll do this one. Always good when they work, eh? Cole, that's a beautiful jig. It just does the nicest dovetails. And everyone saw how easy it was there even for David to do it. Mate, if I can do the dovetails, anyone can do it. Yeah, so I have this little trick, and I'll show you when I've finished. So I've got 3 more ends to glue up, and we'll be there. Sorry, I've tried to speed it up as much as possible by doing all of the work on the dovetails, except for one. So you didn't have to watch me do, dovetail after dovetail after dovetail. But it's quick. It wouldn't have taken that long, but you know what I mean. It can get boring watching one kind of thing. But glue waits for no man or woman. What else has been happening? Look, throw up comment on the in the comments, if you're watching this as a recording after we've done the live show, throw some comments down the bottom. Obviously, nice ones are appreciated. And if you're a subscriber, you have to subscribe to the channel to be able to make comment during the chat. If you like this kind of thing, well, subscribe to the channel and you'll get a little reminder when I do a video. I'm doing a few more of the single videos these days. So it's not just the live show week after week anymore. That's because different things in my life have happened, so I'm able to do these things again. Put that there. Faster, faster. Yeah. Oh, this part's easy, Col, because it's all held. Again, I'll do the same kind of thing, one side, and then I'm going to spin the whole box around. It's like blackboard, isn't it? Hurry up. Remembering to work to the outside. It surprises me how many people will just watch. People are obedient. You say, now you stay there and just watch this, and they do. You watch a whole heap of people. I'm not going to tell you what my secret is early, so you'll have to stay. It's a great little tip. Spinning it around so I can do all the other side. I've decided I'm going to make a few toolboxes. I'm going to make this one, and I've decided I'm not going to make it a 2 level. I'm going to make it just like the Classic. Then I'm going to make another one that's half height. It's the same height like this is now. And I'm also thinking about making another one that is just straight out the style that I had as an apprentice. So the front tilts down. And I'm going to use dovetail joints on all of them. And also in this particular toolbox, I'm going to use dovetails on the sliding tills. There'll be 2 tills, maybe 3, but probably 2 tills in this, because that's what Arthur's has got. We're trying to do, pretty much a replica of what my great-grandfather had. And that will be all of those, a little bit more there, there, and there. Okay, we're getting there. I'm going to spin it around again so I know where I'm at. So I've got D and A. I think that's A there. A is there, D is there. Cool. Let's hope it goes on. One of the other important things is you must put the joints on. You must cut the joints square. That's all there is to it. If you don't cut them square, did you like that? How good is that? Right, here's the secret. What I'm going to do, now when you've seen Cole do it, he often will clamp just to the side of the joint, and then when he's got it pulled up, he'll release it and let it go. And the joint should hold. This is what I'm doing. See this? This will go in between the dovetails. All it is a piece of scrap and some tape. And I'm going to put the piece of scrap there. And it's not going to stay, of course. So now I'll come down lower, hold on to the scrap with the tape, put it up against there and there. Now, why am I doing like that? Well, before when I did it, I was trying to hold a piece of timber and do the clamping at the same time. Crazy. So I'll show you how it works. Fingers, hold it there. There. You can imagine the trouble I had Not on there, David. Up on the actual dovetail, moron. There we go. See the glue come out? And I'm not putting any pressure on the side of the box. See how down there, it's straight. There's no deflection. Do you like that trick, Cole? You can do another one down here because I've got them set up. Bring it back out a little to about there. Nice. And still really nice and straight. And tight. Okay, now the bottom. Pull it in. I'll spin it around and show you. You like it? Do you like it? I'm going to back this one off a little bit and pull it back a bit further. The reason being, parallel clamps, even though they pull in parallel, if I was to go too close to the spine, I would get the front twisting around a little bit. So the whole thing is to try and keep this really straight, keep the pressure on. So if your dovetail joint is a little loose, and you want to keep the clamps on there for a long time, you can do it this way. I think this is a great trick. I can't keep talking because I've got to do the bottom one. As I said before, the first time I attempted this trick, it didn't go well because I was trying to juggle too many pieces of wood. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I got one piece there that's not pulling, so I'm going to release it off there and take it up to the next one. And see if that works for me. Yep, that sure did. Very nice, very, very nice. Now you don't have to worry about pulling the joints this way because the dovetails are shaped, they're holding the pins down, so it doesn't matter. Now, what I'm going to do next is another little trick, and I'll stand the box up. I just want to have a look down here first that the joints are looking nice. They're all looking just beautiful. So here's my last trick. Stand it up, because it can. Checking for square. Now, years ago, I was sent this from a gentleman over in America, and I have never used them. Basically, it's a car aerial. It's telescopic, and it's got these little doovers in the end. Now, I have no affiliation with this gentleman. He sent them over to me. He said, Dave, if you want to use them, give them a shot. So I have put a link to these in the description box down the bottom. And what we do is we just pull it out. Because you know what it's like when you're trying to measure. See that? It's to point to point. Now, if I was trying to measure the outside to outside, the problem there is that if my tails or my pins were slightly longer on one end for whatever reason, I'm not going to get an accurate measurement. Also, wherever the tang on the end of the tape is, I might have it over to one side or the other, and then I'm not going to get an accurate measurement there either. So I'm going to now do this. I'm going to pull it straight back this way and then rotate it and put it in there and have a look and see that I am out substantially. So I now need to check it again and clamp it to pull it up, to pull it straight. So I'm longer that way than that way, which means I need to pull it this direction. So I'll get another clamp. Maybe the 800 will reach. Here's a little thing. These clamps will go longer if you take that thing off the end, and it can come out further. So they normally go about 75 millimeters longer than what advertised. Now, sorry guys, to do this part, I'm going to lay it down flat again because I don't want this clamp to just drop off. There we go. I love it. And the other thing, remember how just before I was saying, if you don't cut these ends square before you put them over the dovetail jig, you're going to have a box that's sitting all squiff. Because all the dovetail jig is doing is mirroring the end of the piece of timber. So you've got to cut it dead straight at 90 degrees. Otherwise, you're going to have big issues. All right, let's check the internals again. I love this little thing. It's going to become my new favorite tool. There we go. Out. In the other direction. It's still slightly longer, so we'll give it a bit more of a twist. Only just. I'll go to the camera up above. Carl cam. Oh, that's not going to be any good. Why is that happening? Give me a second. It's going to be back a little bit, shrink it down, and shrink it down a bit more. Otherwise, you're going to see right onto the... There we go. There we go. Now the camera's at a bit of an angle, so it's going to show it as being a little bit dodgy. There, so let's have a look. Nearly there, nearly there. I'm just going to get my rubber mallet and give it a tap. All right. Oh. I've gone just a little bit too far. That one? Yes, a little too far. I think I can back that off totally now because I think I've moved it and I don't think it's going to go anywhere. That's too long that way. Okay. So there is long. There is short. So I have to bring it back a little. Let me see. I'm also going to use the square. Because I haven't got any issues with the sides flexing, so the square is going to be handy. I think I'm going to go that way a touch, just a little. If I go that direction, checking on the outside as well, Yeah, that's way out. I gotta go this way a bit. See you later, Cole. Okay, a little bit that way, and a little bit that way. Back that clamp off and drop it down one. Down to there. It's going to allow me to get in to that corner properly. Cool. I'm pretty sure I've got to pull it that direction. Now I can get more on the clamp now. That's going to be better. Right, checking again. I've gone too far. Back it off. Now I've got a whole lot more. Oh, that's getting better. That's getting better. Just a little turn. Nearly there. That's looking very good there. And good there. And not so good there. And not too bad there. Do the measuring across the middle again. This is all fun. Squeeze the longer diagonal. That's long. And what do we got here? That's ever so just a touch. Back it off. In. And perfect. That'll do me. Thanks for that, David. David, got one of those squares from Axminster a few weeks ago after seeing it on the show. It's a great tool, isn't it? All right, there we go. Beautiful. Now, the other thing I was going to do, we're nearly done, but I'll let you know what I was going to do, is that at the moment is the top. I'm going to take this clamp off now because I don't think it's really doing anything at the moment. And the really important thing is that it marries up with that bottom box. So I'm going to turn it upside down. And this is the face that has to meet up with that. So this is top front. This is there. Bottom, okay, so A, all right, C. You know what I've done? I don't really want to admit this, but it doesn't look too bad. This one should have been this way around. I'm not fussed because it's a regular shape and they are really nice there. And so my diagonals, these ones are really flat. These ones, maybe not even a millimetre. So I'm not going to bother. So I'm going to put this on top and check that it's going to line up. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm not fussed. I really am not fussed. I'm going to line up the other camera and you can have a look. Where is the other camera? It's around here somewhere, just over there. And I'll show you why I've got that smile on my face. I'll get the camera up and bring it over. Okay, bring it around. This is where it's all going to join up. So that's looking pretty good. Down there is looking pretty good. I'll set the stand up so I can push this back to where it's got to go, which is there. And there. When I put the dominoes on, I'm going to domino this to this. This will end up being pulled really flush. So you can see it there. The bottom piece, this bottom board, has got a deflection like so, because this is the one, no, the top one has got a deflection the other way. That's what it is. Lovely. If I flip it over, I bet you it still works. Actually, that's even better. Even better. The tail, I'll give this a slight sand. Actually, I may even put it the other way, top to bottom. I've got so many options. Anyway, I'm very, very happy with that. I'm going to glue it together during the week. I'll take a little bit of video as I do it. Go back to this one. Yeah, so it wouldn't have been a Dave Stanton live show without a little bit of drama, would it? But insides, there's just a minimal little bit of glue there. I'll get the straw and run it up the inside, and that should clean it off. And I'm going to back this off a little bit because the glue's got it now. Yes, let me have a look down there. It was just grabbing it a little bit too much. There we go, that's gone straight again. Magic. Thanks. Thanks for that, Jeremy. It's all good fun, isn't it? This will be nice. There was one of the great things about working with timber, it's not steel. I can flex it a little bit, and as I say, when I do the dominoes along here, this will all come up and it will look like it was all one piece of wood. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Next week, what I'm going to do is I'll have this done. I may even put the floor in, and we'll look at creating the sliding tills that go across the top here. I may even make one till completely and then, work on another one on the show. Depends on what you want to see, let me know. I may even go for one of these fancy fences. Derek's been talking to me about it. An L fence. So it's a fence that you just make out of 2 pieces of ply, lock them together, a couple of holes in it, and you clamp it to your table saw's rip fence. And then you can use it for following templates and all sorts of things straight templates on your table saw, and also for all sorts of fun things. Anyway, we might do something on that further down the track. You've all been there. Hit the thumbs up before you leave. Okay. Right. Well, there you go. Look after yourselves. Be nice to each other. We'll have the Patreons meeting in a couple of minutes, and I shall see you all next week if you could be bothered coming. I'll see you later. Where are we? Close this one.